Hey guys, how you guys doing? I'm still working this stuff out. I promise you, we will get this stuff done eventually, but I got some good news today because I am Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and I am here today with.
License to Hinge. How are you doing, everybody?
Wait, let's do that one more time.
Hello.
I said I am Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and I'm here today with.
License to Hinge. How you doing, everybody?
That's right. That is one of the things I'm very very pleased with. And again, let me check one thing real quick. Yeah. All right, that works. Um, yeah, you don't actually know, Mr. Henchman, but if you take a look at the monitor there, like I said, take a look at the monitor. Take a look at the monitor, and that is you.
No delay.
That is me. One more time. Smash cut. Smash cut. Oh, look at that.
Can you do Star Wipe? Star Wipe.
Don't push it. Don't push it. Anyway, and welcome to Bust a Recap. This is the show where we recap the stuff that we went on, the stuff that went on with us during the week, which is fun, and the two major TV shows that we've been watching, specifically Lost in Space, or Parker Posey is an insane woman, or and Luke Cage, or as I like to call it, the black man that I will never look like. So, yeah, see, I'm so happy about this because I can now get reaction shots from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. We don't have to, when we were first doing this and trying to get back and forth with that delay, I literally had to do some stuff like, "Hey, I'm signaling you." So, thank you for showing up today, Mr. Henchman. Sorry I was a little late.
No
Yeah, sorry
problem.
I was a little late. Um, yeah, this week has been a thing. I was recovering from Concrud, which I had when you were here last week. So when you made the beeline out of the studio, I'm like, oh God, I hope I didn't make him upset. And then I'm like, actually, it was probably good because I don't want to make him sick. So that's a
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. So ooh man, I'm gonna have to. Could you straighten your body out there? You're like leaning to the. Yeah, there you go. There.
Leaning Tower of Hinge.
Exactly, Leaning Tower of Inch. But yeah, so I came into the studio and I had to do some serious reprogramming of
Mhm.
various things. Serious
Well, you seem
reprogramming.
to made some significant progress. We've
Oh
got
yeah.
much better cutaways.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So many much better ones. But yeah, it's the way I had to do this was I literally had to hack the hardware that I used to get everything here. But
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I had
pulled
to
it
hack.
off.
Yeah, yeah, pulled it off. Still gonna need that switcher. I'm still gonna
Yeah.
need that switcher. I'm hoping and wishing and praying that I can pull off everything I need to do in pre-production for the Anomaly game that we're gonna be doing on Twitch
Mhm.
this Sunday. Tee hee, tee hee hee,
No
tee hee.
pressure.
Huh?
No pressure.
Yeah, none whatsoever. No, none.
Right.
But wow, we got 7 people watching, so of course I have to
Check the chat.
hmm? Well, we're always checking the chat, but yeah, I am saying hello again. Hello to the chat right now. We've got Vixen in there. Hey girl, how you doing? Oh yeah, Concrud does suck. My God, does it suck? Because yeah, if we're looking at that, we are live. We've got 7 people watching, which is cool because everybody starts somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. So yeah, but you recently threw a birthday party, if I am correct on that.
Yes.
Which
Yeah.
is
I'm actually on the decorating committee for the party.
okay.
But, yeah. So our friend has a huge party every year for a lot of Leos. So it's his birthday party. He's a Leo, and being a Leo, he likes to have a lot of friends over. So it's become the Leo party, which
Well, let's
it's
face it, it's a lot of friends to go. You are awesome. You are amazing because that is what every Leo at the core of their being needs.
at one point we had something like 21 different Leos.
Oh dear God.
So, but it's built up some momentum, and every year we try to make. We built one year we built a bar, and that kind of started the tradition. And every year I've made minor improvements to the bar, and it's grown into this huge pirate bar, which is pretty damn impressive when you look at it. We built it now 4 times. We were just talking about this off camera. I rebuilt it 4 times. This is actually the no. This is the third iteration of it, and the this year I busted out for the theme was science and magic. So I pulled out of storage an old Jacob's ladder and cleaned that up and got it working and fired up and made up some signs for the party and set up some lights and stuff. As a joke, I made a Ministry of Magic sign and we put that in the porta potty.
See, I never go into that porta potty thing, but I gotta say, like, it was so good to see to see the Jacob's Ladder going, because I remember when you first built that thing all those decades ago, and when you were like, yeah, check it out, flip the switch, push the button, and I'm like, oh my God, we got the Jacob's Ladder going. I should totally be taking footage of this, and I wasn't. So
yeah, I put on my craft page. I actually posted on Facebook a little short video I took of it firing during the day.
Awesome.
So if you go to License a Hench on Facebook, you can see a video of the sparking.
Pretty awesome.
But I had a lot of fun busting that all out and rehabbing that. We had a good time. It's a little lighter turnout this year just because we're all getting older. We're settling down. We're not 20-something anymore, because back when we were younger, the party would become kind of debauched and crazed. We were actually commenting. One of the comments was, that's one of the few cops didn't get called out this year. Quite a crowd.
Awesome.
And I also went to Midsummer Screen, which is a big Halloween convention in downtown Long Beach.
Yeah, Stickman was there.
Yeah, Stickman was there.
I wanted to go, but I was drowning on both days.
I went knowing that I really, really wanted to go, because I didn't go last year, which I think was the first or second year. And Stickman has gone to it, has been volunteering and working it, and he was like, you really need to go this year. They're really pulling out all the stops. You need to go. So I broke down and I bought a ticket, and I knew that because I was only going to be able to go maybe one day and not for the full day, because I had to get ready for the party, and then the day after the party, it probably wouldn't be in the condition to drag myself down to the convention center. I went ahead and bought their
too drunk.
Yeah,
way too drunk.
Their Bat Pass, which is basically their VIP ticket that lets you jump to the head of all of the monster mazes. Because they had about a dozen different monster mazes set up there. And these are professional mazes from professional haunts.
Mm-hmm.
And I was real glad I did that, because I was able to just walk into most of the mazes and go through them. And I did the vendor room a little bit, but I was getting tired, so I decided to leave. I tried to go back on Sunday to do the vendor room, and because I had not gotten to bed until 5 a.m., I wound up oversleeping.
Oh.
So I got down to the convention center around 1 and couldn't actually get close to it because the traffic was backed up for miles, because all of the parking structures were at capacity and closed down.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, there's plenty of other parking structures in downtown I could find within like 5 blocks. But at that point I decided, if both of the convention center parking structures are full, it is going to be crazy packed in there, and I really don't feel like fighting the crowd just to do some window shopping.
No, that's seriously, that's one of the reasons that I didn't bother. But I do have a super fun surprise for you guys out there, because we have footage of we totally have footage of the Tesla coil working.
Oh.
Yeah, let's check that out. We're just gonna check that out over here real quick. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
my
is
etheric
awesome.
condenser.
Awesome.
Using this device, we're able to concentrate all the cold of the entire northern hemisphere to make ice.
But
yes, caused massive heat waves, but we made over 40 pounds of ice for the bar. Wait, what? What's that?
Yeah.
We can just buy ice?
Yeah, you can.
No, but I spent $34 million making this device. Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, it's called money wasted.
Yeah, that was the shtick I was doing at the party, and drunk people thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I bet. Real quick, since we got somebody in the chat, how's the sound doing? Are we balanced finally? Yeah, I got so much crap from some of our people in the chat going, your sound is off, you need to fix it. I'm like, I know. Can I please get through this flu? Can I do that?
Yeah.
Can I please? That's all. That's all I'm asking. Can I get through the flu? Is that too much to ask? But yeah. So what else? What else? I fixed up. I fixed up the studio, as you can
Mm-hmm.
see.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up getting some cameras. Found out the definition of the thing that you were telling me about, as far as like the live view thing, pittering out after like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The
So
camera, the like Rebel style cameras, they will auto power off after 30 minutes, no matter what you do.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's a safety feature because the internal, like the CCD, it starts to reach damaging temperatures.
yeah, and it might burn out your viewfinder and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I'm thinking about hacking the firmware. I'm
Uh,
thinking about it.
yeah, there's a program called Magic Lantern that lets you jailbreak the camera and
Hmm.
do all kinds of cool stuff with it. But at the time, we still couldn't find an override to prevent it from shutting off after 30 minutes. We
Ah,
even got a battery emulator, which is just a brick that plugs into the battery box that goes into a wall adapter, and that's a standard thing. I mean, they actually sell it as a standard accessory. We didn't have to make anything; we just ordered it from Sony.
okay.
But we still, and with the Magic Lantern, we were able to hack it so we could get a HDMI output
Yeah.
without all of the graphics
Yeah.
on top of it. So we're basically turning it into a webcam,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked gorgeous because we had good lenses and could shoot from a nice distance, but we could never get it to not turn off after 30 minutes.
Well, then I don't need to pick up that program. But
Well, the
now
program's free.
I'm probably gonna go into the firmware
Yeah.
and go. All right, what is that for? What is that? Aha!
Yeah.
That is what I shall do. Yes, stop that. But that might take another couple of weeks because
Yeah.
I'm not good at this stuff.
Yeah, of course, this was also
A few years ago.
3 years ago, so the software someone may have cracked that.
Well, here's hoping. I haven't found anything online, but when it
Mm.
comes to fixing up stuff, my Google Foo is not great. I talked to Stickman today.
Mhm.
He ended up going buck wild on Hero Clicks Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, totally buck wild. The dude got a case and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, he wants a Phantasm.
So
He wants
the Fanta.
Uh huh. And I'm like, we could
Did he
just
get-
order it aftermarket. Never mind.
Did he get it?
Not yet.
So he's gonna order again. So it's two choices. He could order it aftermarket, or he could just buy another case and a half.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, no. We're gonna order it aftermarket, but he ended up playing his ROM the Space Knight team from ROM, the old Marvel's comic, and he had fun. And I'm like, cool. I'm going very cool. Oh my God, we have, speaking of Hero Clicks, we've got a new viewer in. How's it going, Patrick? Yes, my voice is hypnotic. Hypnotic. Ooh. But yeah, all in all, the Avengers team that I played against a Space Knight team, that was fun. That was fun. And I got down here, which is cool. I'm pretty sure I fixed the sound. Pretty sure I fixed the sound with all that stuff. Just doing the overall, like, okay, now I'm doing the sound thing. All right, sound check, sound check, sound check. There is so much stuff to do in pre-production, and I
Yeah.
got back and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm ready to start at 4 o'clock. Nope, I made the announcement for 4:10. We're doing the announcement at 4:10. That is what we're doing. 4:10. But Decker's out there, since I have a few people watching that I don't know who you are. It just says 7 watching. Yeah, we've got a special guest watching us today, which I'm very, very happy about. But we'll get to that in a minute. So just all you were pretty much doing was prepping for the party this week.
Yeah. I was making some coasters to give as presents for all the Leos. I originally wanted to do the laser cutter to carve some foam coasters so everyone would have a little commemorative gift. Try to make a giveaway every year that people can take home as a memento. And unfortunately, the laser cutter crapped out on me on a very hot day. Things literally overheated and fried, so that was sad. And then the morning of the party, I broke a belt on the CNC machine, which is an ongoing issue.
Yeah, that
And-
hurts.
Yeah,
That
and-
hurts a lot because of the Well, it hurts because you're my merch guy,
Yeah.
and now you can't produce any merch, and I'm like, oh,
And
this isn't good.
well,
This
the
isn't
annoying
good.
part is that I can order a replacement belt. It's not that big a deal, but the only place I can get it from, it's a week.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's down
just
to
how it
it.
goes.
But it's like the sixth time I've broken the belt in the exact same spot. It's a
Awesome.
design flaw because I doubled the length of the machine and I did upgrade to a heavier duty belt, but the longer a belt is, the much more likely it is to break, and the fact that it breaks in the same spot shows it's a strain load issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically have to either go to a completely different kind of belt or switch over to a thread driven system.
Gotcha.
And it's just one of those things. I'm eventually going to go with probably a thread driven system, but it's going to be a lot of thumbnail engineering to like bolt, make a new bracket and bolt everything together. So I'm kind of holding off until I have less
Well,
than 6 projects going on at the same time.
in truth, I would go for a chain system. That's the whole. I
I
know it would be a lot more noisy. I just think bicycles. That's.
The reason why I stay away from the chain systems is the chains get really gummed up with the sawdust, like
Oh,
crazy gummed
okay.
up with the sawdust, and you are much more likely to lose a finger with a chain drive.
That's fair. That's fair.
Thread drive, you're much less likely to have like that a horrendous accidental injury. Because yeah, you can still get things crushed, but it's more like being crushed in a vice. Whereas a chain drive, that's basically a mini. You get your shirt or
Mm-hmm.
something caught in the chain mech, and you're going to be having a very bad day.
I say tube, but actually, I want to welcome our special guest today. And by special guest, I mean they're in the chat right now. And for those of you guys out there that are really, you guys do the back in the deck thing a lot, we really appreciate this. And we're always talking about how we're here for people of color, women, LGBT, the rural poor or the poor, and the disabled. And here with us today in the chat, so say hey, what's up to him, is Majestics CCG. We can check out their website right here. Isn't that fun? Wait, yeah, I should have switched it. There we go, Majestics CCG. And these guys are my HeroClix dealers. So they're one of the top HeroClix sellers in the country. They're really involved in the ROC, which is the competitive circuit. And this dude, if it's the one I'm thinking of who's in the chat today, he actually designed the most recent Beta Ray Bill HeroClick for the company. So, dude, I am so glad that you were here. And yeah, I told you, we got you. Because this dude does not put up with gatekeepers. Okay, when you go into a store, you're there to play HeroClix and all that stuff. And if anybody gives you any crap, he'll either make fun of them or just send them away. And you'll be able to find his stuff on backinthedeck.com, or just, as I said here, just go to Majestic CCG. Yeah, Majestic CCG.
That's Majestic with an X.
Yes. Wait, where's my thing? Yeah, just go to Majestic CCG. There we are. Sorry, so many there we go. Yeah.
Well, you are juggling 3 screens.
Yeah. 4. Yeah, go to Majestic CCG and you can check out a lot of his you can check out the videos that he posts. He posts his stuff. He posts a lot of a lot of his people playing. He covers the tournament scene where we're casual here, but if you want to know how to be competitive, boom, that's that guy. But anyway, back to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And no, he's not a sponsor. I'm just letting you know every store when I tell people about Back in the Deck, I tell them, I go around the country to stores and I check the culture of the store so I can recommend them. And people are like, "Do you really do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I do." So yeah. So when you guys are in Orange, California, look him up, do all that stuff. And if you're close to Orange County, California, that's the HeroClix guy. And I buy, God, I would say 80-90% of my clicks from that store directly. So I'm really glad that he's on the show today. This is kind of awesome. But we're not just here to talk about HeroClix,
Mm-hmm.
nor are we here to talk about parties, nor are we here to talk about upgrades to the studio. We're here to talk about TV. Because last week, we did the catch up from Comic Con because I
Yeah.
had so much going. Um, and boy, again, did I learn a lot. I learned a lot, and I, how like you grow up with a bunch of friends, right? And your
Hmm.
friends are like, when I grow up, I'm gonna be this. When I grow up, I'm gonna be this. In my case, it was, I don't think I'm gonna grow up, and I don't think I'm gonna live long enough to grow up. But finding out that like my friends are like all successful and stuff, like I actually have like so many friends that work directly for like Cartoon Network and Warner Brothers, and I was eating Mexican food with a freaking executive in charge of um, live events for Warner Brothers. She was there, and I'm just sitting up going, okay, you're a cute lady and all that stuff, but why are you looking through that folder? You're eating lunch, and then I realized, oh, oh,
Hmm.
oh. And I'm kind of like, you know what? I think I'm kind of a professional groupie at this point because I don't do a whole lot. Um, I don't do a whole lot um, beyond this podcast or these 6 podcasts. 'Cause I'm
Hmm.
going 6 days a week now.
That's
Oh,
crazy, man.
huh?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm a madman. Madman.
Madness.
Um, but but all my friends are like successful, and I'm like, good for you. That's great. Hopefully, I'll make like $40,000 a year doing this stuff eventually, and then I'll just be a happy person.
Yeah.
But before we move on to what we do,
Hmm.
there is a question in the chat that actually is worth talking about,
Okay.
which is thoughts on the Titans show.
Oh, now I had broached that when we talked about the Comic Con because I was like, well, what did you think about that? And you were like, there's so much to unpack there. We're saving that for a complete podcast. You were going to address it later on.
Uh huh.
And the little bits that I saw, I was not happy with.
Okay.
And I looked at that because my roommate Ron, he was the one who was like, "Oh, have you seen the Teen Titans?" And he was not happy because he's a Batman fan.
Mm hmm.
Like we're talking Batman comic fan. He's written scripts just for fun. I mean, the guy is like, so he was very upset with the direction it went, and he showed it to me, and then we kind of broke down like what was wrong, and kind of did like a mutual reaction thing, and yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're gonna get a lot of. Let me put it this way: people who don't know, who aren't familiar with the show, are like, "Oh, that looks awesome! It looks badass! It looks great! It's so grimdark." People who know the characters, know the properties, are like, "What the hell are you thinking?"
Okay, so I've got a proposition for you. Okay,
Don't
let's
we're not watching it, are we?
huh?
Are we watching it?
I'm not just gonna say let's watch it. What I'm gonna say is let's take a look at it. Okay, let's
Okay.
take a look at it, and then let's do a juxtaposition because there are two Titans properties that are out there right now, and they literally are polar opposites.
Okay, this will be
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the major things that I was thinking about um, with this particular thing. So yeah, let me pull that up real quick. And so, ladies and gentlemen, what we are gonna do is we're gonna take a look at the Teen Titans trailer because we did say we were gonna get to that last week, but we're about to hey, call some friends in, give them the link to this thing because there's going to be some opinions. There's going to be
Yeah.
some opinions. All right, so I'm not going to say premiering for the first time, but let's talk about the 2 other trailers that we didn't get to at Comic Con with our Comic Con wrap up, which is let's take a look here. I can play it this way because, well, how can I put it? I'm gonna get your reaction because I like doing stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, so you gonna look. All right,
Okay.
and yeah, oh no, it's gonna be on
On
the screen over
there.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you want to occasionally look down and to your left, that's perfectly fine. So here we are. We're gonna take a look at the Titans.
Everything led me here. To you. You're the boy from the circus. get it, but you can control it. You don't know what I've become.
Sometimes, when I feel the darkness, it feels good. My mom says there's no such thing as monsters.
I used to think that. I was wrong.
Yeah. Cliched line that is really not appropriate for that character.
So, yeah, what
My
did you
mom
think
says-
there?
My, yeah, my mom likes monsters. She's dated several.
Yeah, do not.
Yeah, there's a
get me
lot to
wrong.
unpack there.
Isn't there?
Okay, now, not knowing the properties, you see that trailer. Wow, that's badass. There's
yeah.
action. They've got an actual soundtrack.
Uh-huh.
And I may have mentioned this before. I am a sucker for a good soundtrack. I discovered
Right.
early on that the animes that I really responded to were the ones that had a badass intro song.
Okay.
And so I like a good that they actually have music. But okay, one of the things that jumped to the front of my mind was a comment someone had posted.
Yeah.
Posted on that, and it just cracks me up. Which is, on Arrow, they still are not allowed to say Batman on Arrow.
No, they're
But-
not.
But out of the gate, it's not even aired yet, and the first thing we see Robin say is,
Fuck Batman.
Batman.
Yeah,
And
and
you're
I'm
like,
just. I'm like,
"Guys."
what is going on here? You
Like,
know, because yeah, it's like, dude, what, guys? Yeah, really, let's knock this off. You know.
So now we're gonna look at the other property and try to get a, because I don't know what the other one is. I haven't
Oh
seen the
yeah.
other one.
Now the other one here, I'm actually doing a
Is this-
quick thing.
Okay, I'm kind of seeing the thing here. It's I see you're doing a screen.
Yeah.
That's actually that's clever. That'll be
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
But I'm
so-
seeing the word Alfred on the screen, and what immediately leaps to mind is, hey kids, I have a wacky idea for a new DC property. It's going to be a live action show centered on Alfred, but instead of being a grim, dark, gritty show, we're going to make a comedy where it's kind of like Mr. Belvedere. Oh, Mr.
Talk about a
Wayne.
deep cut. But yeah.
Cue laugh track.
Well, let's take a look here. Hang on. Boom. And yeah, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take a look.
No, it's
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
right there.
I'll look
Yeah,
at it
so
and then-
well, it's right right there. Well, right there for me.
Oh.
But yeah, so we are gonna take a look at the new trailer for Alfred.
Seriously, this is the show, Alfred?
And
I was just making that up. I have literally not even heard any of this. If there's a laugh track, you're gonna have to pause. I'll need a moment.
okay, that's fair. But let's take a quick look here at the new trailer. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna switch it back to Aaron.
I'm afeared.
Huh? You should be. You totally should be. Yeah. Hang on. No. I didn't want that one. And let us begin.
This summer,
They're finally going to make a movie about me!
the story of Batman's greatest ally
It's me! That must be me!
and best friend in the whole world,
Finally!
Alfred the movie.
It's time to clean up this city.
Like I said, this. Yep.
Clean up this city.
Yep.
Movie.
It's time to clean up this city.
That actually does look pretty good.
Just a young gun with a quick fuse.
Soundtrack.
Making movies about every superhero.
Has there been a movie about you?
There was a Green Lantern movie, but we don't talk about that.
Time they make one about me.
I'm afraid it's no. I only make movies about real superheroes.
Why don't they take us seriously?
Titans. You guys are never actually doing anything heroic.
What about that time we discovered that sweet diner and they had that food?
That wasn't even a crime, and you didn't save anything.
We made room for design.
Having a movie is the only way to be seen as a real hero. What about an arch nemesis?
Yawn of justice.
Stop right there. Deadpool?
Deadpool. What? Why does everybody think of Deadpool?
I thought Deadpool was a good guy.
By the way, he before he did. Nah, I'm pretty sure you're Deadpool. I am Blade.
Or Deathstroke Horseman.
Nemesis, then they will see that we're worthy of a movie. I'm not interested in fighting a bunch of sidekicks and half a robot. Oh man, I'm never letting you fly my body again. The whole world will be under my control. Destroy them.
How big is your army? 100,000.
Halt for the mighty Happy.
Watch me, watch me, watch me. Do this. It's always been more than views. And you got it weights on the back of my cruise ship. Look, watch me, watch me, watch me.
We're taking you down. How are you gonna do it? What are you gonna do? You gonna fart on me? You wanna have a dance off? You gonna annoy me to death with your waffles?
Okay.
Coming this summer.
All right. For starters, just initial reactions. I am actually amused by that.
Yeah.
I've gotten over Teen Titans Go just being like they never actually fight bad guys. They bite waffles and they go on camping trips.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, Teen Titans Go is really bizarre, but the movie is cognizant of itself. It actually explains that they aren't heroes.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And
I'm like, oh my god, that is hilarious.
well, one of the things that I was checking out was when you really look at the difference between the two,
Yeah.
it just seems like it seems to me
I'm
like
getting the
Warner
bends
Brothers
from going between one to from complete another grim dark. I stab a guy in the throat because I'm fighting. To we got waffles.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Warner Brothers is like tap dancing this weird thing because they're like, all right, we know we're making this for 40-something-year-olds, so screw Batman. Ugh. And then we know we're making this for 12-year-olds, so waffles. The movie starts with it literally starts with them fighting a giant, like, I think it's Chemo. I think it's Chemo. He's essentially a chemical cloud that's in a great big suit.
Mm-hmm.
And Robin hits it with a batarang, and like a few other people hit it. Oh no, Beast Boy turns into a porcupine, shoots his spines at it, hits the thing, and then it causes a hole, and it goes
So
out
the
of the
movie
back.
starts with a fart joke.
a minute-long fart joke. And I'm just kind of going, okay, everybody know,
The thing
everybody
is, that sounds like a callback to the ambiguously gay duo.
almost. But my thing is, everybody who knows me knows that I love me some comics,
Yeah.
right? And the Teen Titans, as done by the team, you know, the team in the 80s, specifically the Marv Wolfman Titans, the New Titans, where they introduced Vixen, or not Vixen, Raven, and Cyborg, and Starfire, and, you know, the Judas Contract, where, you know, Robin became Nightwing, and we have the whole Terra story arc. That was dead in the center. It was about a bunch of friends, and then dark stuff happened, but they stayed friends. And it seems like Warner Brothers is saying, if it can breathe, it's gonna be dark. We're gonna go full Nolan / Snyder as much as we can get away with on TV. And then if it's animated, it's gonna be cute and chibi. And I heard someone say that the action cartoon type thing is a hurting market because video games are fulfilling the need that teenagers and kids have for that action thing.
Yeah, there's one thing I saw. Because I think it popped up on my Netflix feed or something.
Mhm.
It was the superhero. Apparently, Warner Brothers decided they wanted to do My Little Pony.
Oh dear
so
God.
they did My Little Pony, but they did My Little Pony with teen versions of the female superheroes. So it's like Batgirl, Poison Ivy, Wonder Woman are in high school and they learn the value, like they're high school age wearing Barbie princess outfits, and they're competing for best female superhero of the year, and in their competition they learn the joys of friendship and, you know, supporting one another. And I'm like,
That hurts my soul.
I looked at it and I went, well, if this, actually, I looked at it and I wasn't very happy about it, but my first thought was, well, it's not for me. I don't
Yeah.
need to be happy about it.
Yeah.
One, it's not for me. And my second thought was, you know, honestly, looking at it, if they did market testing, and they went to a bunch to 7-year-old girls and say, "What do you want to see in a superhero?" And the 7-year-old girls said, "This is what we want. I want, pretty costumes and all." And they're like, and they did it. More power to them.
Okay.
If
I'm
they
with that.
did that because some team of like market analysts sat around and just said, "Well, My Little Pony is making big numbers, so we need to pump up this toy line and tap into that," then screw those guys. Because if they went to 7-year-old girls and the girls said, "I want to see Wonder Woman smashing ninja robots over the head with her laser sword," then give the 7-year-old girls that.
Wobots.
And
Yeah. Wobots.
yeah, but I wasn't happy about it. But like I said, my initial after 2 seconds, I went, "It's not for me. Get over it."
Yeah. But with that, let's get back to
Alfred the movie. I want to see that.
dude, who doesn't want to see Alfred the movie?
It's time to clean up this city.
So, and it really sounded like Michael Caine doing the voice, and honestly, that was, let's face it, that would have been 5 Shades of Awesome.
On a slight segue on Grimdark, I have been watching Awesomes on Hulu.
Okay.
And it's kind of, some parts are awesome, some parts aren't. But they had the one character was their Batman analog, and he talks like this, and he has a deep voice. And the whole time another character's like, I can't understand the words you're saying. Like, what is with the voice? If here's a lozenge, take this lozenge. So later on he comes back, and he's talking like this. He goes, that lozenge really helped my voice. And then everyone, I can't respect you with that voice.
Yeah, that's like that one guy that was doing the Batman thing, and it's like he's trying to find his voice. But
Yeah.
anyway, outside of the segues.
So, but I'm doing this because I'm trying to protect my psyche from unpacking everything we just saw.
Okay.
I'm ready. Let's go.
All
Let's
right.
do this.
You ready to do this?
Yes, let's do this.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so, first, what are we talking about first? Are we talking about Lost in Space? Or are we talking a little bit more about the black man that I will never look like?
You know what? I'm going to say dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice? Dude, we're live. I can't flip a coin. I don't have a coin, and I would have to get up and find a coin.
Let's do Lost in Space then.
All right, Lost in Space.
Okay,
This one's all you.
Yeah,
This,
now I forgot the name of the episode. I think the one we watched prior
this
was
episode is called Eulogy.
Eulogy. Yeah, because we did Requiem before.
Yes.
And this is Eulogy. Okay, now as I mentioned earlier during the Comic-Con wrap-up, I had screwed up and mentally combined this episode with the previous episode. So in this episode, this is the episode where the previous episode they have done their wagon training with their 2 carts and only 1 gas tank to get the fuel they need to get off planet.
Right?
And now Mom has found out that there's a black hole eating the sun and that the planet's going to become uninhabitable in the next couple months. And now we know that the planet is an antagonist that is trying to kill them. And on the way back from picking up the super fuel, they drive past the way back is suddenly a geyser field. It's like 100 Old Faithfuls going off constantly. And one of the techs is looking at it and goes, "It's very regular. We can map this out. We can navigate this minefield and get through without any problem." And the back of my mind, I'm looking at me like, seriously, why is this a platform game? Because it's it's a very predictable pattern they got to go through, and at this point you realize the planet is actively malevolent towards them. Because
Yes.
there's no
Dude, that planet wants them. It literally is like scratching an itch. Like it feels that something's on them, and the planet's going
because Ma and Pa Robinson are driving in their RV when there is an earthquake, and the road in front of them starts to crack and crumble. He throws it in reverse. He's driving full speed in reverse through the jungle.
Yep.
Meanwhile, this crack is chasing him. He jinks right. The crack jinks right. He jinks left. The crack jinks left. It is actively chasing them. And finally, he manages to like flip a hard right, and it goes past them. But he continues to off-road down the hill into a giant La Brea tar pit.
Oh, Jesus.
And they're like sitting in the tar pit, and they're slowly sinking. And I was like, "Can we walk in?" He's like, "You probably don't want to. It's like scalding hot." And he's like, "We can get out of this." He's got a winch. He's gonna lash to a tree, pull themselves out. It's not that big a deal. How deep could it be? Now, note, 2 episodes they've been talking nothing about fuel.
Right.
Now they're sitting in a pile of tar, aka crude oil, aka fuel. So the whole time I'm watching this, I'm thinking, oh, well, they've just found an alternate fuel source. This is going to be important.
Right.
Oh, and they can't radio for help because their antenna got broken off. Again, in the future, build better antennas. So they're stuck in the tar pit. Meanwhile, back to the caravan with the gas tank, driving back through the exploding field of geysers, and of course they've got their the con man happens to be a really good pilot.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
as they
honestly,
are.
he is really becoming one of my favorite characters on this show.
And he's found out, and now on their drive back, you get to have that conversation between him and the doctor daughter about the revelation that Dr. Smith is not Dr. Smith.
Wrong show. Doctor Daughter is a show we don't cover here.
Yeah. Is she ever getting her own spinoff? Because I'd love to see that. But anyway,
no.
sad face. So they get to have that conversation about, you know, betrayal and everything, and they have a long a little more character development. Meanwhile, so you got the juxtaposition of those people in their cars having conversations to Ma and Pa, and they're trapped in their car, suddenly discovering that their situation is getting worse. Like, it's no longer an inconvenience; they're gonna die. And they start having that deep, like, I love you, I regret nothing kind of conversations. And they even tap in. There's even a little callback to the Abyss where he's like, well, we have one spacesuit, so you put this spacesuit on so you'll survive. And she's like, I'm not going to do that. And meanwhile, they cut back to them riding through the geyser field. They get almost through the geyser field, and lo and behold, things go wrong. There's a massive accident. The car towing the fuel, because it's a little more burdened,
Right.
doesn't make it. What happens is there's a malfunction. Like, stuff starts to break. Someone has to go out there. We call him the surfer, and like fix it while they're driving. Rolls over, car crashes. The guy is pinned under the tank. I can't feel my legs. Can't feel my lower body. And that's when we find out that's when we continue the theme that the head of the colony is a dick, because he makes a valid argument of, we need this fuel to survive. If we pull the tank off of him, we will lose the fuel, and he probably isn't going to make it anyway. But rather than pull the doctor aside and have a hard lifeboat conversation with her,
Right.
he just degrades her in front of everyone and says, well, you're not a real doctor, you don't know what you're talking about.
And
Shut
that
up.
that is what lost. That's really what
Yeah.
lost my any respect that I might have had for this character at all. Like, at all. I'm like, all right, you know what? I can see that you were elected to be the leader of this utopian society that's starting from zero with all of your issues, but you're a crap leader.
Yeah.
Because it's not just you're not a real doctor. She was the only medical professional that they had there.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like, when you're not a real doctor, it's like, had I been writing it, I would have been like, you know, you're right. I'm a new doctor, but I'm the only one here.
Yeah.
I'm the only one here right now. Everybody else is like 20 miles away. So you know what? Sit there and bleed while we wait for a real doctor, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there was a lot of comebacks and on that. Also, I think in the second watching, I think that part of the reason why the crew reacts to, cause they're reacting to him being a dick, not so much the situation logically. They respond emotionally,
yeah.
and they make the emotional decision of, we have to save our friend and we'll risk losing the fuel because no one knows they don't have any options. Meanwhile, all this is going on. I'm entirely thinking, well, it doesn't matter if they lose the fuel because they've got the tar pits.
Right.
Like, the problem's solved, right? Okay, so I can see where they're going with this. So they'll save, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a TV show. They'll save the guy, they'll lose the fuel, but they'll get the tar pit fuel, and yay! Doesn't quite work out that way. They pull the fuel off, sure enough. Pull the tank off, sure enough. Well, the con man's like, screw that. I'm with her. I trust her more than I trust you, rich asshole who tells everybody what to do. And I'm, go with her. Pulls the tank off. Fuel. She patches him up. but they lose the fuel. So the guy's pissed off. He calls for a second tank. Send out another tank so he can transfer what's the remaining to the reserve. And I'm like, why did you not bring 2 tanks? You bought 2 vehicles. You should have brought 2 tanks. It's the only gas station in 40 million miles. Bring a spare.
He is a bad leader. That is the problem.
And actually, in the rewatching, I also noticed that in earlier episodes, they establish early on he's a bad leader because the entire time they're building their light tower, he's standing around giving stupid orders.
Okay.
And he's like, move those cases over there. He's yelling at us, like, why are you setting up this here? This is a bad place. Move it over there. And the kid's like, I'm just doing what you told me.
Yeah.
And then later on, he's yelling something. Do we have enough light bulbs? And the guy's like, we blew a couple up. And the dude loses his mind. And meanwhile, Dad is like, you could just take some light bulbs out of our ship. That fixed the problem. Cool. Can we move on? Showing that the dad is a good leader.
Yeah.
So I gotta say the writers did a good job in making me not like the guy. And on the second watch, before the first time I watched it, I thought that I just was like, no, I don't like this character. And the second watch, I'm thinking, no, I think they did that on purpose. They're making a point of that the colony they're going to is going to be full of people like this because you've got the con man constantly pointing this out to them.
Okay.
This gives me hope that in later seasons they might actually do some stuff with Dr. Smith.
Okay.
That it's not going to be the complete psychotic show that I thought it was going to be.
That's a weird thing because again, so far by this episode, it's still not feeling like Lost in Space.
Yeah.
It's really feeling
this is
like The Walking Dead.
this is 100% Walking Dead because this is we got to go into the big city to get supplies and everything goes bad because people are stupid.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, it's almost following all those same beats. And there's a bit of a payoff at the end, so stick with it.
Well, we'll see.
Well, not this, it's the series. But like I said, in the second watching, seeing how much they made me hate the leader.
Yeah.
And realizing that that's not on accident. They were doing that on purpose. I didn't quite pick up on that the first viewing.
Okay.
That makes me have hope that they might actually have a plan for Dr. Smith's psychosis, because guess what? In this episode, we find out how batshit she actually is.
Yeah.
Now she has manipulated the situation, put people in harm's way, given people, literally put guns in people's hand and said, "Now go kill." To get Will to Old Yeller the robot.
Yeah.
Because she knows that if she saves the robot and makes Will, after Will betrays it, the robot will bond with her and she will control the robot, which is the most important thing on the planet.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's a thing that happened in this episode that was a nice come to fruition. Mm-hmm. And that was, Dr. Smith is crazy, but she's good.
Yes.
Because she gives the pilot that has the massive PTSD against the robot, she gives her the gun that she stole.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, so there was a gun. We still don't know who made the gun at this point, but...
Well, this episode we find out where the gun comes from.
Yeah, and sure enough, she's like, oh, well, you don't like the robot? Here, have a gun, buddy. Go shoot the robot. Go shoot the robot. And don't get me wrong, being an outside observer, okay, being an audience member, I'm kind of going, no, that's stupid, but then empathizing with the character, that poor pilot who got, pretty much messed up, thrown unconscious, taken to that cave, dumped by Dr. Smith, but she didn't know who Dr. Smith was, and then she's getting bad therapy that she doesn't know as bad.
Yeah.
Like, that was a really good play.
Yeah, because you actually see that, again, writers did a good job. Dr. Smith is reading therapy books in depth before going into this woman. Reads in the therapy on exactly what not to do. So she sets up that whole situation. And she even explains in 2 episodes earlier, she explains to the robot her motives for everything she's doing.
Right.
Which is, these people, I'm a murderer. These people, there are people who know I'm a murderer. I'm being metaphorical because she says that she's rationalizing and being delusional, but ultimately her motivation is she's a murderer. She knows that they are going to, if not outright kill her, lock her up forever or send her back to Earth when this is all said and done. So she is looking for leverage to save herself and like buy her freedom for at the colony.
And in truth, you can't blame her for that.
And the robot
You know?
is that. The problem is she's getting more delusional and unhinged as the thing goes on. And in this episode, we get to the culmination of that, where she crosses over from psycho to full cartoon villainy, which is she is sitting there messing with the disassembled robot in the supply closet. That's important because she gets the supply closet is actually kind of symbolic of something. Because she
Dr.
gets-
Smith has to come out of the closet?
it's something having to do with her psyche, because she gets relegated to that closet a couple of times in the series, and that closet is kind of an important thing. So she's in there and she's putting that thing together, and it's not working. She's like shoving the pieces together and it's not coming to life, and she's confused, like, why isn't this working? And she's very upset. So she's replaying the video that the boy took when he found the alien spacecraft, including the weird sounds the alien spacecraft is making. The alien spacecraft sounds wakes up the robot. It doesn't repair, but the face turns on and it starts to like come to life. And that's when she figures out that she's missing the piece. She needs the spaceship. And that is when she gives the robot the big speech. And we have known, and at this point, she can make no claim of innocence or anything, because she tells the robot horrible things are going to happen.
Yeah, this is exactly the point where she becomes the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, you're
Yeah.
bad now.
Yeah.
There's no question. You're bad. That's it. Nothing else.
Horrible things are going to happen. People are going to be hurt. But I'm going to be innocent because I'm not going to do any of them. You are.
Yeah.
So she literally has the conscious forethought that all the murder and all the chaos she is going to commit, she is absolved of because the robot's going to doing it and not her. And
Okay.
You're just like, wow. That was that. I think that was when me and Stickman were kind of like, okay, like I can't empathize with this character anymore. She's gone full nutso.
Yeah.
And whereas Dr. Smith was always kind of this conniving, selfish, enlightened self-interest. You know, I'll help you as long as it helps me. But you could kind of relate to that kind of like lawful evil mindset of, And then when they made the movie, they made him more of a monster, but at least he was cognizant he was a monster. He makes a comment that it was a philosophical choice. But her, she's like demonstrating some severe psychosis.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, she literally does have. Well, she needs some meds. She really needs some meds.
Cutting back though,
yeah,
because I'm getting a little out of sequence. Mom and Dad are drowning in fuel, and like. Then Mom has the brilliant idea. I still have the helium tank. And he's like, that won't help. She's like, yeah, but I have the balloon. So she uses the balloon to make a escape tube through the tar, and then they crawl out to safety. They lose the vehicle, but they manage to survive. And so they get away, and you're like, and I'm like, okay. In the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, fuel. Yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah, lots of fuel.
There's
Yeah,
a whole.
that's-
They don't even have to
that
pump
burns. Look at
Yeah,
that. It burns.
yeah.
No.
And spoilers, people. We never revisit the tar pits again. Ever. It's never brought up. I don't even, other than having to shower off the tar. Like, no, you need some turpentine for that. It's never addressed. And and of course, on the trip back, the surfer dies.
Ouch.
Crush injuries were far too extensive. They do not have the medical facilities to fix him. Even if they had brought him back to the Jupiter 2, as soon as it happened, he probably wouldn't have made it. He dies. Dad gets leader of the colony gets back to his wife, and he's very sad. He has a human moment. It's the one time we don't see him being an asshole, because he's not in front of the colony. He's with his family.
Yeah, and this is a really big important thing, because that was when, in the show, as a viewer, I'm getting to see this guy that's like, you know what, I don't like you. And then you get this sense of he's putting on an act when he's a leader, which everybody does. But the act that he chooses is an ineffective one. And it's like, oh, you're the best guy for the job that they have to choose from, which kind of reflects on the fact that this colony is not really destined for success.
No, no. Yeah, because they're told on the con man tells them early on, yeah, all your problems you're running from, you're bringing with you. Like that theme they hit a couple of times.
Yeah.
And so he goes back. He's sad. He's human. He explains to his wife, "We lost it. Someone died. There was an accident." He doesn't do the thing I thought he was going to do, which is he was going to rail at the doctor. He was going to blame her. He was going to blame other people for not following his orders or countermandering. He doesn't do any of that. He just says, "There's an accident. Someone died. We lost the fuel. There's almost nothing left."
Yeah. Now,
and that is when the shoe drops. Because he's like, well, she's like, "What are we going to do?" He goes, "Well, we'll figure something out. We have time. This is a setback, but we're not dead in the water yet."
well, okay. I gotta stop you there
Okay.
because you're doing it again.
What?
You're getting into next week's episode.
No, this is
No. In episode 7 was when they did the helium thing, and when Dr. Smith was talking to the busted up robot. Seriously, but that's okay. That's
That
okay.
is?
Yeah, it is. Again, they do tend to run together when you've already binged the whole thing, but
Maybe I watched the wrong episode. I don't know.
no. You because
Yeah.
this is the episode where they went to go get the fuel, the diamond thing. Surfer dude died.
Yeah,
Bad doctor.
Because the fuel thing is stretched out over 2 episodes. I thought it was
Yeah.
all one. It's actually across 2.
Yeah, and but there is a point that I want to bring up around episode 6, which was with our favorite character, good old engineer.
Yeah.
He's always in this clashing, this principalic and moral clashing with the Robinson family.
Yeah.
Because they're like, "Oh no, we're doing this ideal and right is right and wrong is wrong," and he's like, "You do realize you keep sending me home to die." Like you were mad at me for dumping out this thing that I didn't know you were gonna need to freaking bootleg some liquor so I can have a living on my dying world. And while they were going to look for that fuel, he made it very clear, "No, you're paying me for this.
Yep.
Because I don't get to go to Utopia with you guys. I gotta go home and bring the next load of rich, snotty people to Utopia if I survive this one."
Yep.
You know, and the daughter's like, "Well, you're holding our lives ransom," and he's like, "You do it with mine every trip." You know, I mean, I realize you're young, you're idealistic, you're really pretty, but every single one of these trips I take, I risk the exact same danger of you guys taking it once. You guys get to start this new society on a perfect planet, and I go home to a dying world. Does that sound fair to you? And I like that idea of all of this utopian idealism where you got the dad that also thinks like this but can't speak up because he's trying to save his marriage. And you've got the dude that's like, "No, really, I don't have any reason to help you guys except for me to get home for this to possibly happen to me again."
And he's also always the voice of realism.
Yeah.
He always states the real thing as opposed to their idealism or their naivete.
Naivete. Yes,
But
naivete.
but he always does that. And I also like the fact that he's like, "Nope, not gonna save him. Not gonna save him. Gonna watch out for myself. Damn it, I'm gonna go save him."
Now I'm gonna go save him.
So he's also
'cause-
the reluctant hero.
Yeah.
He knows that he knows he should be selfish. He should look out for number one, and yet he cannot resist his base instinct to be a good person.
Well, he's bad at it, essentially. Yeah, he's bad at being a jerk.
Yeah, he's bad at
You know.
being a jerk. But so we come up to the end of the episode, and if like I said, I'll admit my timeline's a little fuzzy. I'll have to go back and review. But there is the tar pit issue. Like I said, that takes some because we don't see the Robinsons, and then the whole thing of because the girl calls home. She wants to talk to her mom to immediately warn her mom that Dr. Smith is a psycho who probably tried to kill them. And they're like, "Well, he's like, she's gonna know if you do that. Don't do that thing." So she calls home and talks to her mom. "Well, your mom's not available. Can I take a message?" And she freaks out. And of course, Dr. Smith immediately knows that something's wrong because Judy's not acting right. So, but mom's unavailable because mom is trapped in a tar pit.
Yeah.
And
like you do.
Like it happens when a planet is trying to murder you. And So, but the leader of the colony is having his very human moment with his wife. He's like, I don't know what to do, but we have options. We'll have time. We'll figure it out.
Right.
And meanwhile, the son is seeing this conversation with this look of stricken horror on his face because he knows about the black hole. And the only reason why he's keeping quiet is because they were going to get fuel and it was going to be a non-issue. So then he's like, there's something I need to tell you. And then they cut back to other things, and we come back to Dad, Mom, and the boy sitting around the family table in the leader's ship. And the dad's like, how long? And he goes, I don't know, weeks, maybe months. And he's like, okay. And he sits there and he thinks about it. And you're like, okay, he's the leader. He needs to deal with the situation. He now knows the clock's not just ticking, it's ran out.
Right.
And he makes a decision. He pauses for a second, you see him come to the decision on his face, looks up at his son, and he goes, prep the ship for launch. We are getting off this planet. I.e., he is abandoning everyone else, taking that little bit of fuel they got, going in his ship, and he and his wife and kid are getting the hell out of there.
Yeah. Like any good leader would.
And that's where we end.
Yeah. So honestly, what would you give this episode?
You know what? As much as this episode pissed me off because of the weird roller coaster rides that were unnecessary, it was a roller coaster ride. And it did piss me off because I was engaged.
Okay.
So it's one of those things where I hate what's going on, but it wasn't I turned it off because I just couldn't stand it anymore. No, I cared. That's why I was so angry. So I actually have to give it a higher rating than I want to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say solid 4 of a kind.
Okay.
I would give it more, except there were some tropes that I didn't appreciate. But I got to tell you, especially on the rewatching, I realized the writers were doing it on purpose, and they did have some place to go. Seeing the leader be an asshole, suddenly be human, and then just abandoning everyone to save his own ass. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's a thing. That is most definitely a thing.
And then Dr. Smith, she's gone full-blown psycho, but they did a very good job of expositioning that she was going full-blown psycho, as opposed to her motives being completely obfuscated. By having her giving her weird, creepy speeches to the robot over and over again, we definitely know what's going on inside her head, as convoluted and bizarre as it is.
Okay, that's fair. I personally gave this one, I gave it a straight. Because everything that you were saying, everything that you said about the engagement and stuff like that, but I was still stuck because it's taking so much for the Robinsons to work their crap out as a married couple. That's the part that's killing me.
Yeah, even though this is the second time they've been trapped in a life and death situation and had to have like the reminiscing talk.
Yeah.
In a week.
Yeah, like two times in 2
catharsis.
episodes. Yeah, 2 times in 2 episodes. And in this one, they finally get their crap together. But I'm just kind of like, I have a big problem with pride for pride's sake.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one of my big things where I'm right 'cause I'm right. Forget how it affects my family, how it affects the very survival of everyone that I'm saying I'm caring about. Nope, I'm right. I put my foot down. No, and it's like, you know what? Stop. Especially since we know you're a dirty, rotten cheater who got everyone here. I'm not trying to pull I'm the man, so give the father a break. But yeah, he was never around. Yes, you found out his dark secret. However, the dude was trying to save billions of lives.
Yeah.
Billions with a B, okay? Billions. So, honestly and for truly, back off. Because it comes down to that trait of, well, you were never here. Well, I'm sorry, my child. I was busy keeping a roof over our heads, making sure you got the car that you wanted, and making sure that you did all that stuff.
You know something? You have a contrast there too. What you're saying is she's angry at him for being altruistic.
Yes,
I could see. Yes, it's bad for their marriage, and she could be sad, and it could not be work. But she's actively pissed at him.
Yes.
Because he put others' welfare above his family. Meanwhile, we cut to the leader who has made the active decision to put his family's welfare above the others.
Yeah. And one of them is a hero and the other is a politician. So with that, I gotta give it a straight. I'm not too jazzed with the way that that came down. So
Yep.
that's where I'm sitting with that, because I think the writers really need to back off of the fighting couples thing, because we're not getting a love triangle. Okay, we're not getting that, and I'm fine with that because I'm
Yeah.
tired of the love triangle. But I hate the being pissed at the good person that you married for being exactly the way that they were when you married them.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where it's like, after how many natural born children? 2, and one of them is 16. There comes a point where you're like, well, of course your father's going to be gone. He's saving the world.
Yeah.
And I am holding the fort and making sure that if your father doesn't save the world, we have another world to go to. That's a team.
Yeah.
You know, that's teamwork. And that's not what they wrote. They wrote how dare you re-up for another. And I'm like, he didn't know if everybody was going to get on those boats, you know? So
Yeah.
with that, and the fact that they're just dragging out that I'm mad at your altruism, although I love you for being altruistic, paradox. So outside of that, I just have to call it a day. I'm like, nope. It gets us straight, because I was compelled, and I was warmed deep down in places that you personally know I like to talk about at parties, but most people are too drunk to listen. I love the fact that the planet is trying to kill them.
Yeah.
That made me happy, because again, yeah, the planet is going, get off me. I tried freezing you, then I tried burning you, then I tried sending animals towards you. You know what? I'm gonna swallow you now. I mean, isn't it bad enough that I rain sharded death onto you?
Yes.
So get off me. You know?
Yeah, the planet. You suspect the planet is being a little testy with the forest fires and the hail of death diamonds, but now no, it's actively chasing you with geologic eruptions and dumps you in frickin' cesspits.
Yeah. So that's where I'm going with that. Now, we're running a little bit close. Like, we're almost running out of time for my part, man. You know. But so here we go. Just a quick summation. Quick summation of Luke Cage, or as I like to say, the black man that I will never look anything like. This episode was an episode of consequences. Lots of consequences. And it raises an awesome question.
Okay.
Okay. You know how a whole lot of stuff happens with comic book stuff, and people fight and things happen, but you very rarely, very, very rarely get the opportunity to ask the basic question: what are the consequences of this action? Okay, now, if we recall a couple of episodes before, Luke Cage went into Cockroach's place for beating his wife and beat him stupid. The guy with super strength and no, like, and bulletproof immunity ended up beating a dude in his house so hard that his girlfriend was like, dude, you need to scale that back, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're now, what did you think when that came down?
Well, we had talked about that before, that he's losing it. He's losing his center. He's getting and he's also getting kind of prideful, because that's right after that. Because isn't that I believe that's the event that cost him his relationship.
Yeah.
And that's where the trope you didn't like, which is she's telling him the stuff he needs is here, just in the shittiest way possible. But and that's when he starts getting kind of full of himself. He gets kind of prideful, and he gets a little too big, and that's when Bushmaster takes him down.
Yeah.
In a really really painful way.
Nah, I'm not gonna go as far as painful.
But now, so he's already been taken down a peg.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's not enough. Now all the other stuff, that lesson needs to be hammered home.
And so in this one, so he got his butt kicked by Bushmaster in a really easy way. Now, Cockroach gets his revenge. So you know what he does?
Oh, I don't know. He tries to hit him with a baseball bat? Run over him with a car.
Worse. He sues him for $100,000.
Oh!
Yeah. He's like, this dude broke into my house when I'm arguing with my girlfriend, and he beat me within an inch of his life. Here's footage of this guy throwing a 700-pound tire across a football field, and I'm just out of jail, and I'm just trying to get my life together, and this guy comes in, and he just beats me stupid. I'm suing for damages.
Well, especially because it's civil court, Cockroach has got a really good case.
Not only does he get a really good case, but we get our first cameo from the other shows this season with Foggy from Daredevil.
Oh.
Who's Luke's lawyer, saying, yeah, guess what? You're a big angry black dude with super strength that's bulletproof, who another smaller black dude is saying kick the crap out of him. You need to settle before this goes public.
Yeah.
You really need to settle out of court.
Yeah, you need to settle because guess what? You actually did do that. There are witnesses.
Yeah.
It's not like he's making this thing up. It's not like he said, oh, it's not like in some of the other superhero episodes where the superhero saves someone and they sue for damage. Oh, my neck, my back. And then it turns out it was fake and they were just looking for media attention and money. No.
Oh, no.
He actually beat Cockroach.
Yeah, and Cockroach is sitting up with a busted arm, 4 busted ribs, a broken clavicle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this dude had gotten hit by a truck named Luke Cage in his living room. And the thing is, though, as the audience, we know Cockroach needed that kicking.
Oh, yeah.
He needed that kicking.
Which is why that's also why it's not going to a criminal.
Right.
Because a criminal, I'm pressing charges. Well, the jury might go, no, Cockroach, you deserve that.
Exactly.
And that's a completely different storyline, completely different message. This is, no, you beat me and I'm suing you. And the answer is, well, actually, you really did beat him and you didn't have cause to beat him because he can't hurt you.
Yeah.
What is he going to do? Hit you with a baseball bat? You wouldn't even feel that. Shoot you? He might scuff your shirt, which already has bullet holes in it, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and Cockroach's poor girlfriend is sitting up there just going, yeah, he broke into the house and he beat her, and he beat him. And then, Luke Cage has that moment of, well, why didn't you stick up for me? And she's like, look, I know you beat the hell out of him for a good reason, and at my heart, I thank you. But if you fight this case, when I go home, he's gonna beat me.
Yeah.
And it really gives this whole insight to what it's like to be in an abusive situation.
Yeah.
And this is a big thing because a lot of people, I hear all the time, why don't they just leave? Why don't they sue? Why don't? And it's like, yeah, you're gonna take the kid and bail from your man who beats you, who also has connections in organized crime. Now, granted, it's not always that severe, okay? It's not always that extreme, but it's like sometimes you just can't escape.
Yeah.
You escape, they got 40 people out there that will find you and beat you or rape you or hopefully in that order, and take your kid, and take it back to the dude that's been beating you up. So that is, it showed that paradox, and Luke is like, well, I don't know how to handle this, So
because, I mean, he's a bad man.
Yeah.
And he does bad things. It's not even hypothetical. Like, this.
Yeah.
And, you don't have the resources to get away. Like, what are you going to do? Well, maybe I could go to my sister's. He knows where your sister is.
Yeah.
In fact, he's told you if you ever leave her, first place he's going to do is going to go to your sister and beat her and her kids.
Yeah.
But, so even if you don't go there, you know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And so,
and Luke is stuck with that whole settling out, and now he's like, what am I going to do to stop him from doing this? Well, he's not going to be able to hit her too hard because he's got a broken arm, but where's this going to end?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, On a happier note for this episode, good old Mercedes Misty Knight gets a care package from our good friend and the Netflix star that nobody likes, Danny Rand. Because, you know, he is a billionaire. And if you guys don't read the comic books, we have the Daughters of the Dragon thing in the episode before that. With Colleen Wing and Misty Knight getting into a bar fight and beating up a bunch of dudes, although Misty is still an amputee and she doesn't have an arm.
Yeah, the scene where she goes to pull back and punch the guy with the arm she doesn't have, and the look she looks at her friend's like, "Hey, it's all you."
Yeah, you know, hey, you're the one that needs this fight, you know, isn't that a cool thing? Well, she gets the new robot arm.
Oh, nice.
Because she helped save the world with her friend who happens to be a billionaire and run a tech company that's 1 or 2 steps down from Stark Enterprises.
Yeah, and in this universe, there are dozens of people with robot arms.
Yeah.
Like that's like a normal thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be like a super robot arm with, like, you know, a reverse engineered alien take, which is all over the place at this point. Like, literally, there's people's jobs who are to scrape it up off the street, and haul it away. So, yeah, just getting a basic replacement arm that you can punch people with effectively is kind of a no-brainer. Just expensive. They're like, what, $3 million? $3 million man callback?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it's okay because the cockroach situation is actually handled by Bushmaster.
Oh, really?
Because, again, our good old villain, Mariah Dillard. Sorry, Stokes. Her name is Stokes. Lord of mercy. Y'all didn't really think you were getting away from this episode without me here doing the bad patois. But, yeah, essentially, she does the, look, I'm legitimate, look at what I'm doing for the whole neighborhood, blah, 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 because she'd already gotten the money that she needed to buy the stock from the inside trade to fund the women's services thing. So she's having the big, you know, four-way. She's like, hey, look, this is the museum that we wanted to do and all that stuff and yada, yada, yada. And sure enough, end of the very day, bada bing, bada boom, she opens up the thing on the stage, and there's the severed head of Cockroach, and like 4 or 5 other crime lords, and they're like, "Oh, dude, this is ugly. Yeah, this is really, really ugly." And so that becomes a thing. And yeah, it really comes down to discovers when Cockroach's head, and Higgins and Ray Ray, or no, not Ray Ray. Ray Ray, I think it was Ray Ray. But yeah, their heads are literally on pikes on the stage. So Bushmaster's people cut off the people's heads, put them on spikes, snuck backstage, like, oh, no, we just have to do a sound check, and put them on display so that when she did the unveiling, and here we, ooh.
Yeah.
You know,
gotta say, horrific material aside, I like Bushmaster's style.
Lord of mercy. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, Bushmaster style, that is what I'm all about right there. Because, yeah, quite honestly and seriously and for truly,
I don't know. I like villains that have style and at least like a motivating code.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the Hannibal Lecter thing. Like, I only eat rude people.
Well, in truth, man, you have a thing for lawful evil.
Yeah, I do.
That is your thing. You like lawful evil. So yeah, quite honestly, that's the whole thing. So honestly, this episode, I had to give, I really did have to give it a full house.
Yeah.
Because this really,
well, that's a major high point too. I mean,
yeah,
because it's like, what's going to happen? We have all these characters, and then boom, oh wow, and it's also a huge message to Mariah.
Yeah,
like, I've taken out everyone else. You're the only one left.
Yeah. After funding you.
Yeah.
So I funded what you want to do. I took out all of our enemies, so I know where you are. I know how to get you, and there ain't nobody standing in my way.
Yeah. Oh, look.
Just letting you know.
I gave you your legitimacy, and it's meaningless.
Yeah.
It will not protect you.
So
yeah, that's a pretty powerful message there. Because, yeah, I gotta say, whew, and that's right on the heels of having like taken down Luke Cage.
Oh, yeah.
in a very public way.
Yeah. So this
I'm
dude
wondering,
is
I'm wondering. So I'm wondering if there'll be any fallout from the with his court case, because his court case just went away.
Oh,
It's gone, right? So
You-
how did that? Did they touch on that, or is that like
You
the
mean
heads are
Luke's court case?
Yeah, Luke's court case. Or
he's got to find the money.
oh, so he settled.
Of
and
course he
signed agreement?
settles. Because if this thing goes to a jury, he loses.
Well, Cockroach
And
is
so
dead,
does
though,
she.
right?
Oh yeah.
So there's no one left to sue him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that suddenly becomes. It'll be interesting to see how that gets resolved. Because then, of course, there'll be someone going, "Well, it's kind of convenient that the most public person who was had evidence it was against you is now suddenly dead."
In all honesty, that doesn't become a thing because the police know he's a good guy, and Misty Knight knows he's a good guy,
And
and that whole not killing is a big
the
thing.
thing, and also the fact that it was other people. If it had just been him, it's Cockroach's head. It might have been a little different, but it was one of many.
Well, it
And
was. It wasn't just one of any. Cockroach was the head of a crime family.
Yeah.
So it were the heads of the other crime families.
Oh, the heads.
See
See what they did there?
Yeah. So all in all, I gotta say, I definitely give this I give this one
Yeah.
I had to give it a full house
Yeah.
because there was a whole lot there. But if you guys like what you hear, or honestly kind of disagree, we don't know. Well, that's fine. That's a fine thing.
Comment.
What you can do, yeah, leave comments. Leave all that stuff, or you can always reach out to us in the same way I'm going to tell you, like I do at the end of every show. But this is about our time. We're a few minutes off, but our shows, I'm trying to keep us a little tighter. Like, really trying to keep us a little tighter. And I only got 4 minutes to thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, again, fortunately, now that we can do all that jazz. Yeah, and yeah, I'm going to also gotta thank the chat for showing up. Chatty Watty chats.
Yep.
Thank you guys for showing up that we're saying. Then feel free. Sorry about that. Feel free to give us a contact at backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK @gmail.com. Thank you for watching us on the YouTubes, and let your friends know that YouTube/BidP. That's BID space P. Follow us on Twitter at backinthedeck. That's at BACKINTHEDECK. And join Deckers on the Book. That is one of the places that we always give our announcements and all that jazz. That's Deckers on the Book. That's our Facebook group. Join us on the SoundCloud if you want to listen to the audio from the stuff that we're doing, and listen to us while you drive or while you shower, because you might be that kind of weird. Sometimes I am. You can find us at SoundCloud/BidP. That's BID_P. And of course, follow us on Instagram. The Instagrams where we do a bunch of live casting on there too, and that's Instagram/BackInTheDeck. So those are the places that you can find us. Where can they get a hold of you, Mr. Henchman?
Well, that is Henchman _BidP @gmail.com. That's henchman _BidP @gmail.com.
Awesome blossom. And by my rod and staff, I really want to thank you guys for showing up again and sticking in there with us this week. Let's just say we still need a whole bunch of coffee. So whenever you go to a convention, wash those hands. And like seriously, wash like the hands, wash the everything, because that's just ugly. But one more time, if people are interested in helping us out, I'm going to say head down to www.backinthedeck.com. In about a week and a half, or well, okay, I'm not going to give a time frame because every time I do, it just goes right out the window. But soon it's going to be $6.99 a month to join us, and you'll get access to all of our live feeds, our entire archive. You'll be able to join the community, and honestly, like we publish essays and stuff for you guys to write if you don't want to write in your own blog, and we share your experiences, and it comes with a whole lot of other things. And if you guys want to help us out directly, just feel free. A really good friend of ours allowed us set up a bank account in his name so that we could use his PayPal. And with that PayPal, you can find us at backinthedeck@gmail.com on the PayPal to do direct donations if you so realize. We're still trying to get better equipment and to give you guys the best shows possible. But in the meantime, I'm going to put this stuff up there and say, if anybody tells you that you can't like what you like because of the circumstances of your birth, be it your race, religion, creed, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious background, or budget, I'm gonna tell you to tell them to take those cards and put them back in the deck. This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, along with License to Hinch, saying we will see you guys next week on Bust a Recap.
Night, everybody. Wow.